last phase of the CURE methodology, team members will evaluate all the ideas scattered on the wall and begin to group and label each idea based on common themes and confirm consensus with regards to the groupings. A simple way to get started is to look for ideas that are almost or are identical and group those ideas together. By doing this, you begin to establish a theme or a category right from the start. After identical stickies have been grouped, then you can start putting similar ideas together. This is why it is important to give team members time to explain what their ideas are in the reveal stage, because it makes evaluation easier and more efficient. Grouping should be done at a reasonable rate and based on gut instinct. Deep analysis is not used when grouping, although quick analysis may be necessary in some cases. Labeling each of the groups can be done in a one-piece flow fashion or in a batched approach. One-piece flow, for example, a label is selected from the labels that are spread across the wall. If the label does not have another that is identical, place it away from the other ideas and add a relevant label to define a category, theme, or grouping. For example, if you were to pick up the spaghetti sticky in our example, you may label that group as pasta. Then grab another idea and look at the groupings that you have already established. Ask yourself, does this fit into any of the groups I have already done? When batching, you should grab one idea, give it a label, and look for other ideas that fit under this label. Here are a few other things to keep in mind as you label your groups. During the labeling, it is okay to change an idea to another group. In addition to changing an idea to a new group, sometimes a new group label will pop into somebody's mind. Discuss the new label idea with your group. Try to keep in mind, even if no ideas are placed under the new label, creating it may still help validate someone's thoughts and can be a possible theme as team members mull over the various suggestions. If and when you come across an idea that you are having trouble understanding, move it off to your parking lot and revisit the idea later. You can also place outliers or ideas that are not relevant in the parking lot. Let's look at our example again. As you can see, the team has placed each of the dinner ideas into a group. Before the grouping, there are 24 points of data that were submitted. That would be a lot of different dinners for anyone to make. After grouping the ideas into themes, the team has narrowed the ideas into categories. There are now 6 categories and 1 outlier that was placed in the parking lot. This makes decision making much easier for everyone. It also makes gaining consensus easier, analysis much easier, and identifying common themes a lot easier. It is important to note that the slide shows all of the ideas placed into categories. However, labeling is much more efficient when done as you go, not in a batched manner. This will make the path to the cure much more efficient. When labeling a group, you want to try and include everyone. However, it is not absolutely mandatory. Since labeling is done in parallel with grouping, there are 2 common methods that you can take to label your group ideas. The first is to use a facilitator. The facilitator can work with the group to establish consensus and then label. It should be noted that if you use a facilitator, they should be experienced in leading a team and/or understand how to use the CURE methodology. The second method is to have members of the group establish their own categories. This method can be tough to use in the beginning, but is also more effective when teams learn to work together and share ideas. Once you have all your ideas in a group and labeled, you should now see and be able to analyze your information much easier. In the next lecture, we will summarize the process before moving on to your capstone project. We'll see you in the next lecture.